For homicide detectives, the clock starts ticking the moment they are called. Their chance of solving a case is cut in half if they don't get a lead in the first 48 hours. Each passing hour gives suspects more time to flee, witnesses more time to forget what they saw, and crucial evidence more time to be lost forever. A real-life Law and Order documenting the opening hours of criminal investigations features two complete cases, a must for true crime buffs, filmed with the complete cooperation of America's top police departments. Any detective will tell you that the most important time in a criminal investigation is the beginning. If there are no significant developments within the first 48 hours, the chances of solving the case are cut in half. The first 48 chronicles this critical period, following real-life detectives as they race the clock in an attempt to identify suspects and unravel clues while the crime is still fresh. In Stripper's Revenge, Detective Tom Calusa investigates the death of a man killed just hours after his girlfriend vowed to get even with him for having an affair. And in Dead on Arrival, Detective Mike Polk must sort through conflicting witness accounts to determine who would pull a young father from his bed in the middle of the night and gun him down. In Desert Bones, detectives must rely on a forensic anthropologist to determine whether a woman whose skeleton was found in the desert was murdered. In Parties Over, the crime is much more recent. 18-year-old Kenny Smith is shot in the head as a party of hundreds of high school students is breaking up. Soon after police arrive on the scene, there is a similar shooting nearby, and the detectives must determine if there is a connection. In Killing Spree, a notorious Miami project is suffering a rash of murders, but the residents aren't even calling the cops. Sergeant Joe Shalazy heads the homicide team that must crack the mystery. In the course of the investigation, they realize that one person is responsible for all the killings. They work the streets, hoping to convince the frightened residents to come forward with information to help catch the predator before he kills again. Fire in the Rain sees Detroit homicide detective Moses Jimenez trying to uncover the identity of a prostitute whose partially burnt body was recovered in a remote industrial area. With no other clues to pursue, discovering who the victim was is his only chance of catching her brutal killer. In Family Feud, 28-year veteran Sergeant Joan Kenny follows up a disturbing report from a terrified witness who claims that a cousin has shot two family members in a car. But crucial details like whether the victims are still alive or not go unreported. In On Ice, the brutal murder of a young worker at an all-night ice rink in Phoenix turns into a cat-and-mouse game as Detective Steve Orana and Alex Formina track a cunning killer. Next, a body found floating in the Arizona Canal plunges Detectives Tom Calusa and Paul Dalton into a double mystery. Who is the victim? And who is the killer? The first 48 follows the detectives of Phoenix expert homicide team from the first moments of these investigations to their dramatic and stunning resolutions. This episode journeys into the underbelly of Kansas City to solve a pair of mysterious murders. Blood in the Snow follows the efforts of a veteran 3-detective team to find the killer of a young woman discovered in a snowy cul-de-sac with 2 bullet holes in her head. And in the Swoop Park killing, another investigation takes a 180-degree turn when detectives receive a shocking tip. In Body in the Park, a badly burned corpse is found in Philadelphia's Fairmount Park, and homicide detectives Leon Lubajinsky and Michael Gross are unable to unearth more than just a few clues. In Ruby Street shooting, an argument turns deadly, but the people who might be able to help the investigation are not talking. Again, physical evidence is all the investigators have to work with. In early morning murder, cops called to one of Kansas City's poorest neighborhoods find a corpse face down in the street after a killing at dawn. In double shooting at Haskell Street, the killers strike at night, leaving two dead at a known drug house. Each case offers an unvarnished look at the way real investigators perform their demanding job. This premiere episode heads to Miami for two riveting segments. In Gangs of Little Havana, two brutal point-blank shootings suggest gang activity, but a frightened community refuses to reveal what they know. And in Execution, in Coconut Grove, forensic teams must search every inch of a victim's home for clues to the identity of her killer.